Hi everyone. Today I want to talk to you about the James brand chapter knife. This is a knife I've had for a little less than a year, and I use it mainly as my office carry, and it's capable as an everyday carry. This particular one is the one in the Damascus steel. I believe this is the Rose DX93X, and yeah, like I said, I've had it a little less than a year, and I just want to kind of go into, how I ended up getting a James brand knife. So I came across this company maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. I believe I was like in New York, and I went into one of the like outdoor like boutique shops that sells, like high end outdoor gear and all that, right? And this James brand was one of the companies that had some items, for sale. And so when I saw the chapter knife, and honestly, it appealed to me because it was just different. I have Spyderco's, I have Chris Reeve knives, I have zero tolerance, and I mean I've been a knife nut for over 10 years now, and this knife just kind of it spoke to me just because it looks different. It looks kind of futuristic, and so I was very curious. It really piqued my interest. So I asked the clerk to see it. I held it in the hand, and it was pretty cool. It wasn't cool enough for me to buy right then and there, but it piqued my interest for a while. So much so that after 2-3 years of my first encounter, I ended up getting one. Now, I know there's some people out there that that rag on James brand, right? They're saying it's like an overpriced hipster brand and it's not worth buying. You know what? That's everyone has their opinion. I get it. I know everyone is using their hard-earned money to buy quality gear. So yeah, it's whatever you enjoy, you get. I personally, I got this because I really enjoyed it. Something spoke to me. And one of the things that really spoke to me was just what their company is all about. So if you go on their website, it is like a very slickly made, slickly made website. It's like a website that that a lot of like really hipster, cool, like companies, the way they design their things, but I really like their mission and their philosophy. So if you go on their website, this is what they say. They say, we make products for every day. We make knives and tools for people who live adventurously, for people like us, for those who aren't content consuming other people's stories and who don't wait around for other people to fix things. We're with you from the pocket to the hand and back again. So I just love how they're about just, charting their own path, doing their own thing. And I got to respect that, And I think all the great companies out there, not just knife companies, but just any company out there, they're doing their own thing, they believe in something, they have a vision and a purpose, and they just carve out their own path, and that's what really just, spoke to me about this brand. Another thing that you see in their website is this is what they say: the knife you carry says something about you. You carry it to solve problems in the now. Some things will never go digital, and I just love I love that language. Just how some things will never go digital. And actually, in one of their interviews, they were saying that they use the word analog. Some of the things they'll just always be analog, and I love how they describe a knife as just it'll never go digital. And I know it's very obvious, right? But it just really also captures the timelessness, the purposefulness of a knife as a tool. Even now, we have scissors. We have things that we don't really need a knife for, but people all over the world still use a knife because it's such a timeless tool. It's a tool that's just will always be around forever just because it's so useful. And so I love how the James brand really captured the ethos of a knife as a tool. Another thing I really like about this knife is just the evolution, you know. So when I first handled the chapter knife 2-3 years ago, you know, it was cool. You know, it was nice. It was different. But now they've really made subtle changes to the knife, and I see them doing that throughout their product line. They'll make these subtle changes. So one example is they brought out the knife in Damascus steel. You know, and this is the rose pattern. This looks really cool. I think another thing they changed up is they added like see there, a hardened steel lock bar insert. I think in the previous iterations they didn't have that, and then I believe also that they added a bearing system in there. I don't know if in the old knives they had the bearing system, but I know at least in the newer iterations they do, and it deploys just like a bearing knife should deploy. It's very smooth. It's very easy to use. And so I love how they're constantly just, improving on their products. They're looking at ways they could refine it. They're tuned into the knife community, and they're open to criticism and how their products could be improved upon. So I really like that about the James brand. It's just they listen to their customers and they're always looking to improve. I really like how it looks. I know this is some people will hate it. It looks kind of like a stick of gum. Growing up, I used to get that. That I forgot the Wrigley's gum. It was like 25 cents. It almost kind of looks like that. It's just very angular, but also they've radiused the handles, so it feels really warm and it feels really comfortable in the hand. So even though it does look very blocky, they do radius the handle, so it feels really good. I don't know if I could capture it right now, but see that? It feels really good in the hand. It's very comfortable to use. It's very modern, very minimalistic, right? Yeah, I love it. Another thing is that, like I mentioned, I love the design philosophy, and I love and their design philosophy is just pretty much designing tools that are minimalistic, and it's just great to use for every day. And you can really see that. It looks like something that IKEA would design, It's very modern looking. And another thing I really like about it is when you get this knife, it's going to come in this really cool like box. It's like a wooden box, and the knife is going to be inside of like this, like a fleece like sleeve. And then yeah, it's just a really cool marketing, it's like a marketing thing, but I think it shows just how they really, take care of their customer, and that they really want their customer to have an experience of receiving this knife in the mail and just opening it up and just cutting into the box. And it's really cool the way they've presented the knife. I think it's something unique. Like I said, it's something that's very unique to them, and they're just doing their own thing. Now I want to talk about a couple things that I don't like as much. First of all, I think in the regular like chapter knife, it's like the S35 VN, I believe it is a hollow grind, but when you get the Damascus steel version, it's gonna be like a flat grind. I don't think it's like a hollow grind. I don't know if you could see it, maybe you can't see it. Yeah, but it is a bit of a thick blade stock for such a short knife. This is less than 3 inches of blade length, so it is a thicker stock. And for this particular version, it just has a flat grind, and you could tell it doesn't go all the way up. It goes a little past halfway, so it doesn't cut as well as, let's say, if it was a hollow grind. It would have been amazing if they've hollow grounded the Damascus steel version. I don't know if it's just my particular knife. Maybe it is hollow grind in the other Damascus steel versions. I'm not sure, but it is not a great cutter. It's a good cutter. It'll cut. It'll do its job, but it's not as great of a cutter it could be if it was like hollow ground. Another thing is this thumb stud is not pressed in. It's actually screwed in. So like the first couple days I got it, it actually came loose, and it's actually like a screw. And so what I did, I just kind of tightened it with my finger, and then it came loose again after a couple more days. So what I did is I just Loctited it. So I've had no issues with it now. It doesn't come loose, but I think it would be, it'd be an improvement if they actually pressed in that thumb stud. But, you know what, like, they're doing their own thing, so I know that they have to take into account like cost and in production and all that. So that's really the only two knocks I would give this knife. I think overall this is a fantastic knife. It does its job. It cuts, it looks really nice, to me. It feels really good in the hand, and I think overall this is a company that's just really charting their own course, and I think that's really important. I think it's, you could have there's companies out there that are emulating what other companies have been doing, and then there's some companies that are just like, what, we just want to, we want to write our own story, So I think if you are about just supporting companies that are, relatively new, and they're still, they still definitely have like, ways to go. But that's like every company, I'm pretty sure when Spyderco first, made their knives, it wasn't, the perfect knife. Everyone starts somewhere, and I'm really glad that I got to discover a company that decided to just go for it and just write their own story and carve their own path. And I think that's what's really important, is just being able to support companies that are doing things like that. And that's why I ended up getting the James brand chapter knife in Damascus, and I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the last James brand that I get. So if you're on the fence about getting the James brand, you know what, like, dude, go for it, man. And I think, yeah, it's gonna serve its purpose well. You're gonna be supporting a great company, and you're gonna enjoy it. So yeah, go for it. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.